Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for this really informative webinar. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and HomeBasedTravelAgent.com, I welcome all of you today. We're going to learn more about Europe's newest river cruise line, Emerald Waterways. Our speaker is Randy Goodrich, who is a trainer for both Scenic Cruises and Emerald Waterways, and is the business development manager for agents in Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Alaska, Hawaii, and Texas. As always, we really appreciate the support we get from Emerald Waterways. Randy will be giving us an Emerald Waterways update. Before we get started, please remember that you are all muted, but we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions at any time in the question area you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. At the end of Randy's presentation, we'll get to as many questions as we can. So let's turn the microphone over to Randy so he can get started. Welcome back, Randy.
Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody taking the time to learn some more about Scenic Cruises. Very exciting product, and I'm looking forward to showing it to you. By the way, Sandy, I've inherited Northern California, Utah, and Colorado now.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, you get
expanded.
around. You get around.
Basically, if you can't get a hold of somebody from Scenic, call me. I'll get you pointed in the right direction. So I want to tell you about Europe's newest river cruise company. It is one of the companies that Sandy mentioned. We have two river cruise companies as part of Scenic Tours, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Scenic in a minute. But we have Scenic Cruises, which is the five-star, most all-inclusive luxury brand out there for your upscale clients. And now we have Emerald Waterways, which is a deluxe, beautiful ship. Just got big awards. I'll show you that. Also, the service and the food are as good as Scenic. They're all trained in the same place. We buy the same food, so that quality is excellent. It's just not as all-inclusive, so it's more price competitive. In my opinion, doing quite a few different analysis on cruise lines and costs, it's the best value out there, and I hopefully will show you today why, and to the point where you'll offer Emerald to your clients really looking for new ships and new types of services and conclusions, but maybe not to the same degree as Scenic offers. So we are the newest deluxe river cruise company. We started in business last year with two ships. This year we'll have two more ships are in the water now, getting ready to take clients all over Europe. And we also have a lease ship, an Arosa ship in France that we're using for the Rhone River. So we did get the Cruise Critic Best New River Ship Award last year for 2014. And the statement is just somebody that went on the original cruise and how much they really enjoyed it. So we had the Emerald Sky and the Emerald Star last year. We've added the Dawn and the Sun, and next year in 2016 we'll add the Belle. They will all be in Europe, doing primarily the Rhine and the Danube, as well as the Main, going all the way across Amsterdam to Budapest. The ship is like all the other ships on the European waterways. Their maximum length 443 feet and 38 feet wide. They only can be about 40 feet to fit through the locks, so maximizing what we have to work with. So you can see there's three levels of cabins. Pretty much this is the way all the ships are laid out, if you're not familiar with them. On the second deck there, you can see that's where the restaurant is in the front. On the third deck, that's the bar and lounge area up front. But in the back, that's where our swimming pool is. That's really quite the feature, and we'll go into that a little bit more later. So 182 guests. There's 47 crew members, so you're at about a 3.5 to 1 ratio there. 20 of the smaller staterooms down on the first level, and 72 suites above that. We're owned by Scenic Tours. Scenic Tours has been running tours in Australia since 1986 and has expanded worldwide to taking Australians and New Zealanders all around the world for almost 30 years. They got into the river cruise business in 2008 when they decided to, after chartering a few ships from the competitors, that their clients liked it, but it was time for a luxury river cruise company with ships designed with all the amenities and features that people that are used to doing ocean cruises with people like Regent and Silversea and Crystal and Seabourn, those levels of service. So Mr. Maroney, the owner, founder and owner of the company, decided to get in the river cruise business. He started building ships. He was the first one. He's known to be one of the great innovators in the industry. He's the first to come out with all balconies. So every deck on the second and third cabin on the Scenic cruises has balconies. Not quite the same on Emerald, but I'll show you that in a second. So Scenic now actually has 12 ships this year, the most all-inclusive cruise line. Emerald started last year. We now have 4 ships, not quite as inclusive, but very competitive pricing, great service, great food. You'll see that the ship itself, the decor, is a little more modern, a little more glitzy than Scenic and some of the others. It's very young feeling, very light throughout the ship. Lots of chrome, mirrors, glass, things like that. It's fantastic ships. We include all tips and gratuities, which a lot of other cruise lines don't do that, both onshore and offshore. So you can see more of the kind of the decor. Actually, I had a little issue there with that mirror. That's the mirror going downstairs. It's an old mirror. You kind of get lost whether you're going up or down, where to turn. But it's just lovely and keeps it very light, bright. So here's a rendition of the ship. You'll see the swimming pool in the back with the retractable roof and the windows all the way around. It's just an absolutely lovely room. I'll show you more of that later. But lovely ship. The bar and lounge area, it's got great seating, really conducive to people getting together, chatting about what they did during the day and the different scenes they saw, etc. So people can build a lot of, hopefully, long-term relationships with other people. In the bar area, again, very, very bright and tons of window space. We have 2 dining venues here. On Scenic, there's 6. That's one of the differences. But here we have 2, the main dining room and then the terrace, which is at the bow of the ship behind the lounge. It's quite nice. They have light breakfast and light lunch they serve there, and great for breakfast because you can look right out, see where you are, and get kind of get your bearings straight and think about what you're going to do that day. Then the restaurant itself, called Reflections, is lovely. It is you have a buffet breakfast. So behind the waiter there, you can kind of see the buffet stations in the middle of the room. It accommodates all 182 passengers easily, so it's never a crowded feeling. There's the deluxe hot and cold buffet breakfast. There's buffet style lunch, and then you have a la carte type dinners. Again, bright, light, gorgeous. There's a wellness center, hairdresser, massage, and a nice little workout area for those people who want to are really avid workout people. Most people actually do get quite a bit of a workout every day on the walking tours and getting on and off the bus and things like that. So, but it's a nice workout area. Plus the pool. Entertainment to the full-time entertainer on board. We bring in local entertainment in certain cities, which is quite nice. People really get into it. The entertainers try to get the customers involved. So it's a great experience for everybody. These are the suites. So this is the big suite. Biggest ones are the owner's 1-bedroom suites. It's a bedroom with a sitting area and a deck. And the decks have our innovative open air windows where you can push the button. There's 2 panels of glass there. And so all the cabins on the second and third deck, they don't all have decks, but they all have that window feature that goes up and down. So I'll show you some of those in a minute. So there's 4 of these 315 square foot owner suites. Very nice. They come with complimentary laundry, as well as a mini bar, have a little special concierge services, and there's an iPad at the suites. The next level is the grand balcony suites. Again, this has a little deck out there that people can sit on. They can also, if the weather's not so great, or either too hot or too cold or too wet or too noisy or windy, they could still sit on the deck because they could close that second panel, and it basically encloses the deck. so it becomes part of the room, but they can still sit out there and enjoy the scenery. That's quite nice. These are 210 square feet, and they do come with a espresso coffee machine, which is quite nice, and our concierge service, so they can get some maybe drinks ordered for their room before dinner, things like that. Panorama balcony suites. This is the majority of the cabins on the second and third deck. They're going to be this 180 square foot cabin, quite nice. That's not really a deck there. It's inside the cabin, but it does have that window feature, so it's kind of like a French balcony, if you're familiar with that, where they can still lean out and look around, take pictures, or whatever they want to do, or just let the fresh air come in. That's very nice, but if it's cold or wet or windy, they can close that very easily with push of a button. So. And then our lowest category down on the first deck is the Emerald Staterooms, 162 square feet. They have all the amenities of the general staterooms. They're just a little bit smaller, and there's no deck area type. Because we're right where that board is going across the middle of the wall. That's about the water level. So obviously we can't open that up too much. And there are 2 single cabins on board, and those are both down in this area of the first level. The first cabins you get to down the stairs, and they just have a single bed. So. Bathrooms are very well appointed. Nice toiletries, hair dryers are included, all that good, lots of good water pressure. Now here's the pool area. So I can't show a video on GoToMeeting, but if I could, you would see how this all starts to happen here. During the day, it's a beautiful area. Nice days. They've got the retractable roof back like this, and right behind where this person who took the picture is a bar area that's got a 24-hour coffee pot, so they come out here in the morning and read paper or whatever, have coffee, and just enjoy the scenery. There may or may not be people in the pool. The pool's probably about 5 feet deep, so it's not a little wading pool. It's actually water where you can easily swim and do some laps. And it's kind of an infinity type pool. The water's lapping over the sides. It's very, very nice. Big 30 people or so there. But the bottom of the pool, if you look at it closely, with that paneling type decking material, it looks like a deck. And in fact, it is, because where these chairs are, these people are sitting in, these 2 slides, that actually is the bottom of the pool. So at around 5 o'clock or so, when people are going to get ready for dinner, they close the room up, they push a button, and it takes about 15 minutes. And the bottom of the pool rises to the top, and the water flows down underneath. So there's water. These people are sitting on the bottom of the pool, and the water is underneath now. So they soak up all the water and whatnot from the top of the pool, clean it up, and then put these beautiful chairs out and have a first-rate movie running. Typically that runs on schedule 3, maybe 4 times a week. It just depends how many people want to do that. It also makes a lovely room for groups. If you have a group and want to have a special group event, we also have some incentive groups, dentists and whatnot, that came on board. They'd be small because we only take 30, 40 people in this room, but you have full AV equipment, so it's a great place. And we think there's a good future for this with incentive type small group, business group folks. So think about that if you have those types of clientele. Serve popcorn, beer, drinks while watching a movie. It's just quite unusual for a river cruise, and lots of fun. People love it. We'll talk about our itinerary, since we have 4 boats out there, plus the one in France, which is the Arosa Charter. We primarily focus on the Rhine and the Danube, but also with the Amsterdam Budapest, where we go through the Main Canal to the Main River, through southern Germany, over to Nuremberg, and then down into the Danube, and then we can go all the way to the Black Sea. So there's an assortment. You've got most popular be Danube Delights. That's a 1-week trip, either Nuremberg, Budapest, or vice versa. But most people will add a 3-day stay in Prague, and it's best to buy that really through the cruise line, because that will include all the transfers as well. So we do include all transfers. So they'll get into Prague if they do Prague first. Get into Prague, have 3 days with nice hotel with tours and all that, and then we'll take them to the ship in either Nuremberg or Budapest, or do that on the back end either way. That's really a popular trip. It's a fantastic way for people to experience some parts of Eastern Europe that they haven't been able to get to before. Then, of course, the Rhine between Amsterdam and Basel is a wonderful trip. It's pretty easy flying into Amsterdam or into typically Zurich to get over to Basel, and we'll transfer them from Zurich over to the ship. And then you've got the longer trip that includes the Moselle. And then there's a couple unusual itineraries, and for 16 there's even some different itineraries. Here's one, Bucharest up to Nuremberg, so they can see the Black Sea and then get up that way. There's going to be a Vienna to Bucharest trip, so there's some new things. Just the new 2016 catalog, pre-release catalog, just came out here in the last week or so. So if you haven't got one, I'll show you where to order that in a minute. And then we've got the Rhone River with that charter ship. So just certain dates we have that, but that gives us a chance to take some of our clients to France. So here's some maps if you're not familiar with these different rivers and different routes. Then you got the Amsterdam, Budapest, 3 rivers, 5 countries, and lots of really cool places to visit. The whole purpose of a river cruise and the reason they're so popular is that they get you up close and personal to these wonderful, not only just the big cities you've heard of, but so many small places, Rudolph, Koblenz, Melk, Dürnstein, Passau, places that a lot of people haven't heard of, and you get there, and once you've experienced it, you'll never forget it. So your customers will have that experience, they come back, they tell their friends and family about it, and pretty soon you start getting calls from those people. They all want to do the same trip. So that's why river cruising is so popular. So that's actually Dürnstein. That's in the Wachau Valley on the Danube River. Very famous place in history, but which most of us, I didn't know anything about actually until I went there. And I learned about it. Now I really understand the value of that place and what it went through in history. So here's the Danube trip itself. That's, again, the most popular trip. So that's the Chain Bridge, which is in Budapest with the Parliament building in the background. Beautiful, especially at night. So at night, we actually, with both Scenic and Emerald, will run a nighttime, just up the river, down the river type of deal with some great Mozart music or something like that. It's actually spectacular. They light the whole city up. On the left side of that bridge is, if you don't know, this is Budapest. Buda is on the left side, Pest is on the right. When they built that bridge, that became Budapest. But on the left side is a hill. That's where the palace is. That's all lit up. Some churches that are lit up. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is including the trip to Prague, very popular, Charles Bridge in Prague. And then the Rhine River. So typically you fly in or out of Zurich. But the ship actually leaves from Basel. You can't go any further up the Rhine. It's too shallow, and it goes to Lake Constance there. But it's a fun trip, mostly in Germany, of course, but lots of history, good French wines and whatnot down in the southern part. A little trip out to the Black Forest, things like that. So this is at the end of the eastern end of the Rhine Gorge. Yes, that castle's on an island right in the middle of the Rhine River. You see one of the old. There's 40 castles in this stretch of the gorge, so it's quite the day to take a trip through there. It's just the extension into Moselle there. It's the Moselle Valley area, it's castle. And then the southern Danube, when you get down to start or end in Bucharest. That's the gorge area, the southern Danube. And then this time of year, late April, early May, it's when we do the Netherlands, Belgium, basically focused around the tulip time and all the Brazilian tulips coming out in Keukenhof Gardens. But we also include Bruges and some other really wonderful visits there. And then France, that's the Rhone, goes north and south. Typically, you fly into Paris and go down to get the ship, or you fly into Nice and go up to Arles and get on the ships, or you fly into Marseille. There's Lyon. So for 2016, we have the new ship, the Emerald Belle, coming for Europe, and we have some charters on the Mekong and Irrawaddy. We actually ran charters in these areas last year with Scenic, but just really for the Australian market to kind of get our feet wet, so to speak. And now we're using those same ships, same charters for Emerald this year, as Scenic is building a special ship for the Mekong for 2016, and has some. Also, we have some charters on the Irrawaddy. So we do have some special offers still for 2015, where there's space available. There's not a whole lot, but there are some pockets of space. So I'll show you how you can check that out and see if you can get your customer a fly free or a 2-for-1 air, depending on which itinerary they pick. So really, to get more information on Emerald is emeraldwaterways.com. That's our site for the United States. And that will have a lot of information. There's a lot of drop downs. You can get more information on the ships. There's some videos right over here. You see the lady, picture of the lady here. That's Twiggy over there. Now, she was our original godmother. I've been trying to get them to update that picture to put Joni in there, because Joni was our godmother last year at one of our ships as well. So she's right in there with Twiggy and Joni. Must be quite a pair to hang out with. But so over here, this lady is a travel agent. So this would be a testimonial you can listen to from some fellow travel agents, what they thought of the ship and the experience with Emerald. This would be a little video of one of the cruises and going around the ship. This is where you can also see how the pool, this part of the video shows the pool coming up to make the full deck. Quite cool. And then there's a 360 that you can look at to actually walk yourself right into the cabins and whatnot. Pretty cool stuff. But down at the bottom, there's a link down here you can't see, but trust me, it's down there. It's called Agent Site, and when you click on that, you get into what we call our Express Books. It's the same engine used for both Scenic and Emerald, but you can come in and you need to get a username and password to access the site. But once you can do that, this is not only a booking tool, but a sales tool. And the reason I say that is because what happens a lot, if you tried to book river cruises, you end up calling the river cruise company. The client says they want X, they call. If X is not available, so then there's other choices, so you go back and forth. What this enables you to do is say they want to do the Danube trip in May of 2016. The response will be immediately from the system. Everything within April, May, and June, it has availability. And then there's the ability to expand each one of those to show you exactly which cabins are available. So you can tell your customer right now, here's what's available on that particular date. You can open several dates up so you can tell them very quickly which dates have the type of cabin they're really interested in. And then you go into that into the deck plan, and you can see on this picture here where there's numbers showing. Those are the cabins that are still available. You can actually grab it right there, put a happy face on your clients on it, and proceed to book that. To book it, it's a $500 deposit, non-refundable deposit, and then the final is due 90 days prior to departure. So you could be booking a trip for somebody for September 2016, get them the cabin they like, the best choice, the best availability is right now. And right now we're still honoring 2015 prices. That would be until probably the end of May when the full catalog comes out at the new pricing. Now's the best time to buy it. For $500 each deposit, they then have that cabin. It's theirs until they sail, so they can spend the rest of the year enjoying the idea that they have this cabin and they're going to be on this great trip. And then about June of next year, that's when they owe the final payment. So it's very nice to get your customer in that position. They're very comfortable knowing that everything's there done for them, not worrying about whether the heck going to go get a cabin or not. They've got it. It's locked in. So let's talk about the Emerald values I mentioned earlier. I think personally, I find it to be the best value in river cruising, comparing it to the other river cruise lines out there. So I'll just go through everything that is included. The items in bold are something that's different than most of the other river cruise companies in this category and what I call the deluxe category. So all airport transfers are included, and that's with or without air. You don't have to buy the air through us, which some people require. So we just want to know when they're coming in, and we'll pick them up and get them to the ship. Obviously, spacious. Our accommodations are a little more spacious than some of the typical competitors out there, except for Scenic. And then it's great onboard innovations like the pool/cinema area. That's outstanding. And of course, what they call the open air system. That's the window, the outer window that you can mechanically raise and lower. All meals and a collection of highlight dinners in the Reflection Restaurant are included. Breakfast, all that on the terrace. Complimentary wine, beer, and soft drinks. And we don't just give them one bottle of wine to experience. It's typical, several whites, several reds that they can choose from. And then if we do have starting this year, we have beverage packages. So there's several different beverage packages depending on what they want to drink while they're on the trip. So that save them some money. Tea and coffee, of course, bottled water, all that good stuff. We have included shore excursions almost every day, well, pretty much every day. And we have some Emerald Plus that we include as well. So these would be a little extra special. So some days your customer would have two tours possible to visit famous places wherever they happen to be there. So that's something the others don't do. Typically they offer one. Scenic offers two or three every day, but Emerald kind of fits in between there. Very, very nice. In the owner suites and the grand balcony suites, there's some appetizers that are served and sweets and things like that. A little extra touch with the concierge. And then complimentary Wi-Fi, that's throughout the ship. So everybody can have access to that. And of course, port charges, airport taxes, all those things are included. And we take care of all tips and gratuities, which could save the client quite a bit of money. So when you're comparing Emerald to one of the other mainstream deluxe cruise lines out there, then you really need to know what's included and what's not. They all say they're all-inclusive, but all-inclusive can be kind of nebulous. What is all-inclusive? That mean one type of wine a night? Does it mean a selection of wines? Does it mean all tips, or does it mean just tips on board and you still have to tip on shore? Does it mean all transfers, or do you have to buy the air? So just be aware of those differences, because it can make a lot of difference to your customer's experience. And so they don't have a huge bill when they check out. There are some people that don't want to include everything, so that when your customer checks out, they owe for shore excursions, drinks, all sorts of different things. So be aware of that. And we do real documents. There's no e-docs here, so you'll get documents, and we give a backpack. So everybody gets a backpack, which are very nice. People love them. They take them on the trip. They use them on their outings every day. So that's nice to know. And this page, this is your contact information currently for the United States. If you happen to be in Canada, you need to go to the Canadian sales office up there. But I kind of handle whatever is out there that needs to be handled. And then we have full-time people in the Northeast, the Southeast, the Southwest, the Midwest, and Northern California. We had a gentleman there who had, for personal reasons, had to resign. So I'm kind of covering that for now. But if you're whatever area you're in, these are the people to contact for more information. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Sandy, and I'll take questions.
Thanks, Randy. That was fantastic. I think we're all ready to book Emerald right now. You answered our first couple of questions, which was about working with Canadian agencies. Is there a website for Canadian agencies with Canadian dollars and whatnot?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's Scenic. It's probably scenictours.ca. But there's the Canadian reservation number is being shown there, as well as email that you can send to them, and they find out who your representative is in your particular province.
Okay, and we've had a couple of questions about the cinema, which looks so beautiful. Do you know how many seats are in the cinema, and is there ever a problem with more people wanting to go to a movie than you have seats for?
Oh, I'm sure it's an issue some nights, but typically there's 30 to 40 in there that can be seated pretty comfortably. And we have enough nights where people don't typically want to go every night. But if we have a wide demand, then we'll just have it another. I think what I understand, we typically have a different movie running 3 nights. We may have a movie, pretty much their first run movies, but we'll have like when we're coming into, say, Linz or Passau, where the day trip is up to Salzburg, we'll probably have the Sound of Music running, and so people can got to get into the spirit before they go up there. But, generally, that's it. The nights when we don't have a movie, people just go up there and hang out. There's bar service and whatnot.
Sounds good. Do agents register their agencies right on the website?
You need to send an email to, you're welcome to send it to me, or you can send it to info@emeraldwaterways.com, say that you would like to register for the booking engine. We'll need the name of the agency, the address, phone number, contact, an IATA or CLIA number, whatever you have, and of course email, and we'll get that information right back to you.
Okay, and what about getting brochures? Are they just online, or are there paper brochures, and how do agents get those?
Well, online you can order, it could ask you if you're an agent, and then you can order, I think, up to 5 or 10, or you can contact your BDM, whoever that would be on the list here, and we'll put it in order. We just need your address and stuff. We'll send you a box. You want a full box? So a full box. So right now we have the pre-release brochure out. That will be good until probably close to the end of May. This 2015 prices. It's a beautiful brochure to show your customer. And then in end of May, when the full brochure comes out, that brochure will actually be obsolete. The pricing would be wrong. So you'll get a supply of the new brochures as well.
We have a question about the complimentary wine at lunch and dinner. Is it one glass, or can you have more than one glass of wine?
Go for it. You have as much as you want. And like I said, I've heard the other cruise lines will give you one red and one white. Take it or leave it if it's not the favorite. Because in today's world, there's a lot of people that drink a lot of wine. So some people like a Syrah, some like a Cabernet, some like a Merlot or a Pinot. So we try to have a selection of those, where others may not.
Okay, and you can get more than one glass at dinner if you're interested?
Yeah, some people get too much, but that's okay.
Okay.
I want everybody to have a good time.
How many passengers are on these ships?
182. So that's, to compare that, CNH has 169, and Viking or some of the others, the same size ship, will have 190 plus. So it just means we have fewer cabins. So it gives us more room to do things with, like put a swimming pool in.
We have questions about whether Emerald is appropriate for families, children and teens. Are there things for them, that are appropriate to do on board? Do you have rooms that hold more than 2 people?
Okay. Well, first of all, we don't take any children under 12. I think that's mostly for safety reasons. And then second, we only have capacity for 2 people per cabin. We don't have any triples yet. We don't have any connecting rooms. Is it appropriate for teenagers and even 20-year-olds? If they like history, they'll have a good time. We do have the cinema. We do have the pool. But if they're not interested in seeing, history, museums, churches, things like that every day, they're not going to have a great time. So it's just you need to, as an agent, you consult with your client, make sure they understand that. If they have kids that are really into finding out experience. It's a great experience for a young person to have with their parents or their grandparents, to share that experience. They'll never forget it the rest of their life. But they have to kind of have an interest in wanting to learn about these different cultures and the history behind it.
And are there rooms that hold more than 2 people?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't have that. I think the industry will mature over time, just like the ocean cruise industry did, where they start to try to appeal to different demographics and family, multi-generational, all that. But it's going to take some time, because right now they're filling up this is true of all the river cruise companies. They're filling their ships up with doubles, with 55-year-old plus baby boomers primarily, who are interested in these kinds of trips where they're going to be really focused on learning about other people, other cultures, other history.
If someone comes on board with a small group, are any of the rooms reserved? Can they reserve them for a party or something like the cinema or some other area of the ship?
Yes. This has to be done ahead of time. So as you're putting the group together, you'd want to make a request with the group department that you would like to have a special event one evening and use the cinema room or whatever.
Okay. And do agents register separately for Emerald and for Scenic, or if you're registered on one, are you all set to go with the other?
You're set for both. It's the same login. So to specifically get into Scenic, you would go to scenicruises.com or Emerald. Now, when you do the booking, when you're going in to check availability, if you have the brochure handy, in the pricing section of each itinerary is a tour code. So, like, I don't know these off the top of my head. I know that for Scenic on the Danube it's NBU, and for Emerald on the Danube it's something different, DUM or something. I don't know what it is. But you put that code in, it's going to know you're looking for Emerald or you're looking for the Scenic. But if you put in and just try to drill down to the Danube itself, it'll pull up both brands.
Okay, excellent. Does Emerald own its own vessels?
Yeah, Scenic owns all the vessels. So Mr. Maroney, the owner, has done quite well. So he basically pays cash for both Scenic and Emerald vessels, and so he's very. The only one he doesn't really own is the one in Russia, because the Russian government owns it by law.
Is there information online about specific shore excursions that are included and available?
Yeah, I think it's online. When you actually get into the itinerary, the day-to-day itinerary, it will tell you what the tours are, and then if there's an Emerald Plus, which is kind of the additional tours that we offer, so there'll be potential having two in a day. Those will be typically spelled out right in the detailed itinerary. Same with Scenic.
And does Emerald operate all year round?
No. They typically operate. You start in April, and then you go through the summer, through the fall. Late fall, we'll have some Christmas focus on Christmas markets. Then we're closed down for about 3 months while we renovate the ships and clean it, get everything ready for the new season. But people don't typically want to travel too much in the European waterways. Now, in doing the charters in the Mekong and Irrawaddy, both Scenic and Emerald, then those would be in the wintertime in January, February, March.
Okay. Is there entertainment on the ships in the evening other than what's being shown in the cinema?
Oh yeah. There's a full-time entertainer, and we use people who have multi-talented. They can do every genre. They do different kinds of acoustics music, so they're very entertaining. And then we bring local entertainers in at certain places. So if we're in, like in Regensburg on the Danube, we'll bring the Opa band in, because it's Bavaria, and they have a great time, try to get interchanged with everybody, have the hat dance, if you're familiar with that, all that fun stuff.
Here's an interesting question. Where does Emerald position itself vis-a-vis other riverboat lines that are out there, like Viking or Uniworld?
Yeah, well, that's what's happening is that that question wouldn't have come up a couple of years ago because everybody was pretty much the same. So it's starting to they're starting to segregate a little bit on who's the top end, who's. I wouldn't say there are any bottom ends in river cruising. They're all a great experience. So I would say Emerald's in the deluxe category, Scenics in the ultra deluxe or whatever you want to call it. They're top of the line with all their inclusions and amenities. Uh, but Emerald was we brought Emerald on board to specifically not have all the inclusions and whatnot that cost a lot of extra money, so you can be more price competitive. And I think it is the best value when you look at what's included and what the price level is. It's right there as better value, I think, than anybody else out there if you look at it.
Is there a place agents can go for a comparison between Emerald and Scenic? What does Scenic include that Emerald doesn't? And, are the rooms bigger, for example, that sort of thing?
I can send that. We don't publicize that out there, but we've got some of those comparisons.
Okay, so can agents contact either you or their local BDM if you're not it?
Yeah, it can send me an email right now. I've got that information handy. I think the other guys do too, but just in case.
Okay.
So it's randy.goodrich@scenictours.com.
Okay, randy.goodrich@scenictours.com. Excellent. Where can someone get information about chartering a ship?
That would be through our group department. So you see Jerry Hamilton there. Their contact information or email jerry.hamilton@scenictours.com or her phone number to the right. She's in charge. She manages the groups and charters.
Excellent.
Great ship for a charter too, because of the entertainment areas, the pool area and stuff.
Yeah, and it's a good size
quite a few
for
charters.
a charter. And we have time for one more question, and many agents have asked this, and I bet you can guess what it is, Randy. And that is a question about FAMs and agent rates, right?
So we have several times a year we have an organized FAM where we invite agents on, and we have some of our people on board. But we don't have a lot of meetings. We focus more on letting you experience as if you were a customer. So we'll have a couple meetings. We also have some FAM rates independently that you can request. They're based on availability, and you can do that 4 months out. So now you can get into July or so, I think. But you need to go online first and find a sailing that has a lot of space available. You have a better chance of getting that one. You also we have a Scenic Specialist program that's available through the agent site on Scenic. We're going to have the Emerald Specialist program ready, 30 to 60 days. That's going to be a requirement that you pass the program first, so we know you've taken the time and effort to learn more about our product. And the BDM in your area will want to talk to you about once we put you on the ship and you come back, and if you have a good experience, how can we work with you to market, take advantage of the fact that you've personally been on the ship, so it's a win-win for everybody.
Okay, and if agents find a sailing that they want to try to get on
to, they send an email to their local representative requesting that. The representative will contact the reservation department. They will check on availability and see, and then their decision will be made, and we'll let them know. And then the cost is $495. That's all for an agent, and $995 for a companion. Just two agents, $495 times two is for the lowest category cabin on the second deck, not down at the bottom. So we want to get you up there where things are nice. You experience the windows going up and down and all that good stuff.
Okay, well, that sounds fantastic, and that just about does it for questions. So I want to thank our speaker very much, Randy Goodrich, trainer for both Scenic Cruises and Emerald Waterways. Randy, as usual, you have given us a lot of information and have made this look really attractive for us to sell to our clients. So thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you, Sandy, and thank everybody for joining us.
That's right. Thanks so much, agents, for signing into this call and taking time out of your day. And we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.